So first of all, I'm going to talk about Paisa Fintech case analysis. Paisa is a fast-growing Nepali fintech company that has gained around 15% market share within 5 years, emerging as a strong competitor to eSeva and Kalti. The appointment of a new CEO, Anshuman Nepali, signals a strategic shift towards aggressive growth, innovation, and regional expansion.
Leadership style analysis. Voice follow a mixed leadership style. Consumer have a strong vision to become number one fintech by 2027, focusing on innovation and financial inclusion. This reflects transformation leadership, where leaders inspire employees, promote ethical values, and encourage growth. However, autocratic leadership is also seen. A key decision making and rapid expansion are imposed from top without employee consultation. The leadership motivates staff and create urgency for growth. However, some employee feels goals are unrealistic, roles are unclear, and this can lead to resistance. As employee, we were initially inspired by the company vision. However, we became concerned about workload and lack of clarity. We will seek clear roles and expectations. Overall, the vision is strong, but without clarity and inclusion, it is not enough.
Now, I will talk about the organizational culture, power, and ethics. Poisha tried to change its organizational culture. The company moved from a traditional hierarchical structure to a flat structure. Instead of rigid department, the company introduced innovation pods, small cross-functional teams designed to collaborate quickly and efficiently. The main aim of this change was to increase speed, flexibility, and innovations. This change excited the tech teams, but it created problems for optional and senior managers. As a result, a cultural clash developed between the new innovation-focused teams and old operational teams. Using same culture model, we can clearly see this clash. At the activity level, we see innovation ports and pure management layers. At the expose value level, Poisa promote speed and innovations. However, at the underlying assumption level, senior employees still value experience, authority, and stability. This mismatch created ethical risks. Many employees felt there was a favoritism to our tech teams. Senior managers felt marginalized and ignored. There was also a loss of fairness and employee voice in decision making. Overall, this shows that cultural change without ethical sensitivity leads to a resistance rather than alignment. To reduce this, leaders should follow inclusive decision making involving all the teams. Culture change should happen gradually, not suddenly. Leadership must be transparent and ethical, explaining the reasons behind decisions. Most importantly, leaders should respect institutional knowledge, especially the experience of senior employees. Now, moving on, decision making and leadership style. A major incident was the approval of the buy now, pay later order. The CEO approved this decision without consulting the risks, compliance, and with other operation teams. This clearly shows an autocratic leadership style where decisions are made by one leader. As a result, there is a high control and low participation. This approach has some strengths. It allows fast decision making as well as help Paisa to gain a fast mover advantage in a competitive fintech market. However, the weaknesses are more serious. Ignoring expert advice increases regulatory and financial risks. It also reduces employee trust and psychological safety. The critical insight is that in fintech, speed without consultation amplifies risks rather than reducing it, and this can have long-term sustainability.
Let's move towards goal setting and performance boosting. Let's talk about motivational impact and leadership issues. Currently, the tech team feels motivated and rewards for their work. However, operations and customer service teams feel undervalued, creating a sense of unfairness in the appraisal system. This imbalance affects motivation. By only rewarding innovation focused teams, the organization ignores essential roles that support organizations. This creates internal inequality and may even encourage excessive risk taking as employees focus only on what is rewarded rather than what is best for the company. Let's talk about balanced leadership approach and evaluation. To address these issues, we need a balanced leadership approach. This involves inclusive goal setting, where all teams are part and defining objectives. Each role should have specific key performance indicators, ensuring everyone knows what success looks like. Recognition should be given across all functions, not just innovation teams, and performance measurement should be fair and transparent. Evaluating this, we see that a balanced system motivates all contributors, creates fairness, and encourages collaboration. Simply put, when everyone feels valued, the whole organization performs better. Let's talk about motivation, rewards, and gig economy. Talking about sustainability and ethical concerns. Next, we'll look at ethical and sustainability issues. Some of Paisa's decisions like outsourcing or freezing promotions created job insecurity and inequality. Employees may feel the psychological contract has been broken and local talent might be exploited. These are serious ethical concerns because treating people unfairly can damage trust, reduce motivation, and increase turnover. In other words, while the company may save money in the short term, these decisions can hurt employees' morale and loyalty over time, which is not sustainable for long-term growth. Alternative reward strategies and evaluation. Finally, we considered alternative reward strategies. Paisa could adapt a hybrid staffing model combining permanent employees and flexible roles. Skill-based incentives and learning opportunities can motivate employees to grow, while non-financial rewards like recognition and career development can boost engagement. Evaluating this approach, we see that it supports long-term commitment. Short-term savings are important, but focusing on fair and motivating rewards ensures employees remain loyal and motivated, helping the company grow sustainably. In simple words, fair rewards and opportunities for everyone lead to happier and some productive employees.
Now I'm going to talk about leading change. Using Coter's change model, Poisa's change fell due to key leadership gaps. There was no collagen building, communication was poor, and employees were not involved, leading to low buy-in and change fatigues. Change was imposed too rapidly, senior staffs were excluded, and emotional readiness was ignored. As a result, the change felt forced rather than supported. To lead change effectively, Poisa should build urgency with empathy, engage middle management, and communicate consistently. Celebrating small wins and anchoring change in organizational culture would help sustain momentum. Overall, the change failed because it moved too fast and lacked inclusion. Coter's analysis shows that Paisa focused on cost pressure rather than the shared purpose. Senior and middle managers were excluded, communication was poor, and employees lacked tools and authority. With no visible benefits, morale declined early, and the change felt imposed instead of internalized. From the ad curve perspective, the change felt at every stage. Employees lacked awareness of why outsourcing was needed, had little desire to no involvement or incentives, and limited knowledge about how gig models would work. Without training, ability remained low, and with no enforcement, the change was never embedded.
Emotional intelligence and conflict AI framework analysis. Using Goldman AI framework, the CEO demonstrates several critical weaknesses. Self-awareness is low. Self-regulation is weak. He fails to recognize his emotional triggers and overestimates his control level. During formal discussions, emotional outburst and a defensive tone escalate conflict rather than resolve it. Although his motivation is strong, it is misaligned. The focus on speed and innovation ignores the emotional and relational impact on employees. Most importantly, empathy is lacking, as legitimate concerns raised by risk and compliance teams are dismissed. Conflict is handled using a competitive style, as explained by the Thomas Kilmann conflict model. This approach shows high assertiveness but low cooperation. While it may be effectiveness in crisis, in the case it led to increased resistance, reduced trust, and cultural silence of fear. More effective approach would be a collaborating conflict style, supported by emotionally intelligent leadership. This includes pausing to regulate emotions, actively listening, validating concerns, and reframing conflict as a shared problem. Emotionally intelligent leadership transforms conflict into learning rather than division. Cross-cultural leadership and negotiation. Paisa's leadership prioritized speed, efficiency, and quick deal closure, while the Indian partner valued relationship building, hierarchy, and trust. This mismatch created stalled negotiations. Cross-cultural leadership and negotiation. Paisa's leadership prioritized speed, efficiency. Using Hofstede and global frameworks, key differences became clear. Paisa shows high performance orientation, whereas the Indian context places greater emphasis on human orientation and in-group collectivism. Paisa underestimated the importance of seniority, formal introductions, and long-term relationship development. This highlights a leadership failure, the use of a one-size-fits-all negotiation style. Effective global leadership requires cultural intelligence, not urgency alone. This highlights a leadership failure, the use of a one-size-fits-all negotiation style. Effective global leadership requires cultural. A more appropriate strategy would be a relationship-first and adaptive leadership approach. This includes investing time in trust building, respecting hierarchy, using culturally aware negotiators, and allowing flexible timelines. Such an approach strengthens partnership and improve long-term strategic outcomes.
Transformational, participative, and emotionally intelligent based leadership best explain both the success and failure in the Paisa case. Transformational leadership is shown through a clear vision to become a leading fintech by 2027. This inspired employees and created early momentum. Its strengths include creating purpose, urgency, and alignment for growth. However, this vision was imposed with little consultation, reducing employee ownership and increasing burnout risks. Participative leadership was mostly absent. Key decisions like PNPL launch, outsourcing, and reward change were made top-down without employee input. This reduced trust and ownership. As a result, registration increased, ethical issues emerged, and risks were poorly managed. Emotional intelligence based leadership was mostly missing. Leaders showed poor self control in conflicts, little empathy for employee and partners, and weak relationship management. This led to more conflict, damaged trust, and lower leadership credibility. For breakthrough leadership, Paisa should use people centered decision making. This include cross-functional communities, pilot testing ideas, and involving team in strategy to balance speed with ethics. The proposal combines a clear, inclusive visions with an emotionally intelligent culture, emotionally intelligent trainings, open dialogues, and private, constructive conflict resolution. Our action plan focuses on people-centered leadership to drive better outcomes. It aims to increase employee engagement, reduce resistance to change, and strengthen the company ethical reputation. By aligning leadership with inclusion, innovation, and emotional intelligence, Paysa can achieve a sustainable competitive advantage in the fintech industry.
In conclusion, Poisha has strong growth potential with innovations and clear visions, but over-reliance on autocratic leadership has causes resistance, low trust, and conflict. Rapid change without inclusions weaken decisions. To succeed, Poisha must balance visions with ethics, inclusions, and emotional intelligence. Breakthrough leadership will boost engagements, build trust, and secure long-term competitive advantage.